What's up, guys? Specstar here today with the Week 2 battle of Clash of Kings that I said I would not upload because of all the times it crashed. But the truth is, this game was just a little bit too crazy for me to not upload. I could not neglect to provide this one for you guys, and later on you will see why. You'll see exactly why. So, this time I'm coming in with a different team. Fun fact for this team, I was a vocal advocate for not taking Mega Pidgeot, which I say is a bad Mega, and I would normally not take a low tier Mega unless maybe it was Sableye, which for its price I kind of like, but that's the only one. But here I am using it this week. My team, I did not like the matchups so well. This one I thought had some better matchups, and this week I am going up against my boy TC. He's got a team consisting of Reuniclus, Cinderace, Mega Mawile, Gliscor, Toxapex, and Rotom Frost. And I will switch over and show my team. So starting up, I got a Mega Pidgeot. I'm running a Workup, Roost, Hurricane substitute set. Only Hurricane for attacking because it still does a fuck ton to Rotom and Mawile. The damage 40, 50, insane amount of damage. I'm running Substitute and Workup to try to take advantage of Toxapex, which could be very annoying to this thing if I wasn't able to beat it, as Hurricane, especially in this matchup where it would always run especially defensive, Hurricane just does an absolute pittance. It's nothing. Well, it's nothing unboosted. I have to work up, and then it can potentially become a KO. So, yeah, that's my Pidgeot there, running speed for Cinderace. Next up here, I got my Garchomp. I'm running Leftover Substitute Sword Stance, and Earthquake and Dragon Claw do a pretty damn good job hitting his team. I kind of cummed over the calcs, and there wasn't much of a reason for me to boost my attack with any item, so leftovers for the longevity became a more attractive option. And yeah, that's my Chomp there. Next, I'm coming up with the modest max speed Encore Soft Boiled Clefable, which is a bit of an oddball of a set, but you know. Yeah, it has a nice matchup here. I'm running all the way max speed with the Modest because that is just one more speed than max speed Jolly Mawile. And with my Life Orb Fire Blast, we'll just kill that thing. Unless it's some kind of specially defensive set, which I do not anticipate. And then Moonblast hits pretty much whatever Fire Blast doesn't, except for Toxapex, which I can hopefully force out using Encore unless it wants to lock into something like Sludge Bomb or Gunk Shot. Next up here, I'm going into my Blacephalon here, which is Substitute 3 attack Air Balloon. And I got actually pretty aggressive with my creep here, and I could have went timid and I would have definitely been faster than the Gliscor, which I had to be faster than. But this going modest was important for being able to 2-KO Toxapex, and I didn't think Gliscor would be that speedy. So I covered it creeping an Adamant Garchomp just to be a little bit safe, and then I added a few extra speed to try to make sure this thing would be faster than Gliscor realistically. And yeah, I got 3 attacks, an Air Balloon so I can sub up on Gliscor, which you probably look at moves like Ice Fang, Facade, Toxic, Earthquake, all of which are nullified by the set. So that's what I had in mind there. Next up here, I've got a physically defensive Registeel with Curse 3 attacks. And basically, this was my best attempt at not being completely passive with this thing, because Registeel could definitely let in free Gliscor, free rocks, which is kind of the harm of this thing in this matchup. Also, running Curse Heavy Slam could kind of make it a contingency plan for a Reuniclus, especially since this team does not make it so I don't have a Dark type on this team, so the thing could run Acid Armor, Calm Mind with Psyshock or Psychic. So having Curse Heavy Slam can kind of help me respond to setup Reunicluses a little bit better. And this thing is largely here to switch into Mawile because nothing else on the damn team could. It was rough, boys. And lastly here, I've got my Rotom, and I'm just running Specs Trick here, which basically the thing's best opportunity to kind of do some damage when it's in. Cause a little ruckus, do a little harm. Alright, so let's get to this game, shall we? So my plan here was to always lead off with Blacephalon. It could definitely take advantage of a few things, such as Mawile, Gliscor, and Rotom probably too a little bit, and put some pressure on him. Even Cinderace, but you gotta kind of be careful because that thing's one move to hit Blacephalon is Sucker Punch, so gotta be careful around that. So I lead Blacephalon, he leads Reuniclus. Now, I would be fine to attack the thing if it was anything except for Assault Vest, but I did see some Assault Vests and Mox, and I kind of... It was something we talked about as one of the big threats, so I'm just not going to take the chance of it eating my Shadow Ball and then hitting me back with a Shadow Ball into a KOing, especially with how important Blacephalon is. Well, I don't know about important, but how threatening Blacephalon is more so. And I don't want to lose my balloon, so I'm actually going to switch out into Registeel. Now, him going right for Shadow Ball, that tells me that he's got to be Assault Vest. If he's going to stay in on the Blacephalon there, he's got to be Assault Vest, he's got to be Regenerator. So that's some good information off the bat. I'm actually going to pull the switch into my Rotom, which is being pretty aggressive early. I was thinking that he would probably want to switch that thing out into either Gliscor or Toxapex, because those both are they nullify what Registeel does pretty good. I mean, on paper for him I could get a Brox, but if he went in Gliscor he would get a Brox too, and I don't have any Absorber for Toxic Spikes, nor on paper a great way to defog them away, so that was my thought process there. But you know what, he goes for Knockoff, which is a fair play too. He knocks out my choice specs. So here, now that I don't have an item, I'm very passive against this thing. I can't touch it very hard. So my thought process is, if I can take off this thing's vest here, then Pidgeot is opened up. So is Blacephalon. So I'm gonna go for my trick here to try to take his vest. If he did switch out, he could have went into something like Gliscor, which I would have been... I obviously wouldn't have loved being toxic, but I would have liked that thing not being Poison Hail. So I'm happy to just trick here and take his vest, which definitely opens things up a little bit. Then I'm able to Volt Switch out and go into my Registeel here. He goes for Knockoff again. And here I'm going to go for my Heavy Slam just to get some damage off. Unfortunately, he's going to miss a Focus Blast. He'll then pull the switch in a Gliscor, and I'm actually going to go for my Curse here. He gets his Poison off, and he goes for Sword Stance. But this Ice Punch damage here is going to tell me that he's basically all the way physically defensive. So, not going to be doing too much. Earthquake does 47. I go for another Ice Punch. And here I know he's just going to roost me off, so I'm going to go into my Pidgeot here to try to put a little bit of pressure on him. He shouldn't be able to kill me since he doesn't have any attack investment, I presume. I imagine he's got a little bit of speed and then the rest will go into defense. So I'm just going to go for my Hurricane here as he goes into Rotom. And that is some big boy damage for not very effective, 41%. We take that. I'm just going to basically throw away my Registeel here, as I don't have a great switch in a Rotom at all. So he goes into Mawile. I might play just Earthquake here. No doubt about it. I go into my Garchomp here, and this is my chance to sub up. He goes into Gliscor, and I'm just going to Sword Stance up, even though I know that there's a good chance it's Ice Fang. It's either Ice Fang or Facade in the last move. I'm going to Sword Stance up. Now here, even though he's physically defensive, and Dragon Claw on its own wouldn't be a 2-hit KO, with Rough Skin damage, it would be put in range of a 2-hit KO if he went to Ice Fang me and I know I would live it, so I'm good to just Dragon Claw here. And he does go for the Ice Fang, and that does put him in range of another Dragon Claw. And I'm free to just Dragon Claw again because he has nothing that can come in on that, so... Alright guys, it's been a ride since I was last covering this game. My laptop has crashed 8 times attempting to record the ending of this. I did record it twice. The first time OBS decided, I guess kind of in the middle of it, that it was just going to stop recording, so I got to the end and it was not continuing to record. And then I went back and I did it again. I rendered the video for 2 hours. I uploaded it, and then I saw that the second half had no audio, so that was fun. But we are back, and I'm watching the audio bar move, and I'm watching it say that it's recording and the seconds going by, so hopefully we can finish this off. Yeah, I'm free to Dragon Claw here again. The only thing that would have stopped that is if he went into Mawile, but I would have been, for the most part, out of range of Sucker Punch unless he was adamant and got a near max roll. So, life score is going to go down. He's going to bring in the Rotom here, which I always suspected would be Scarf, so of course that's going to force me out, and I will just sack off my little Rotom here to the Blizzard. Then I bring in my Blacephalon, which should get a sub-up here. He goes into Toxapex. I do have the Psyshock for that, and it should be a 2-hit KO. So I go for it there. And I was gonna click Shadow Ball here, and then I'm gonna chicken out and just click Psyshock again, in case he wanted to be too aggressive with his pecs. So I stay in here, because if he wasn't very bulky, Shadow Ball would have killed him from here. But he's actually gonna show to have quite a bit of bulk there, and live it somewhat comfortably. And I'm actually gonna make, I think, not the right play. I probably should just let Blacephalon go down. It's probably less useful in Garchomp. Instead I wanted Garchomp to die here to the Cinderace, so probably a mistake there, but Chomp goes down. Then I bring in my Pidgeot to go for Hurricane, take that thing out. He brings in his Rotom, which I do not have the switch in for at all, so I just have to sack off my Blacephalon here. The Clown goes down, and then he brings in his Pex. This is my chance to sub up with my Pidgeot, so I will do that. He goes for Toxic, and this is my chance to work up here. But actually he's going to go to Liquidation, and I think he had a little bit of an attack investment, which is good prep on his behalf, because he is able to break my sub, which is unfortunate for me. But I'm able to go for Hurricane now, and it's a 2-hit KO. He goes for another Liquidation, gets me down to half. But my next Hurricane is fortunately able to kill him, which actually opens up the door for my Clefable, because I think Toxapex could have PP stalled out my Clefable. So it's definitely nice to see that thing go down here. He brings in his Rotom, and I can't switch into my Clef. At this point, Clefable is my win con. All my hopes are lying in Clefable here. He goes down to Mega Mawile, but fortunately this Clefable is designed to smash what on paper would be its nemesis on the team, and I go right for the Fire Blast and take that thing down. He goes in his Rotom Frost here, and my thought process is that I just have to click Moonblast. It definitely should kill him from here, and if he tricks me, then Scarf Clefable locked into Moonblast still has a potential to win. But he actually goes for his Blizzard here. It lands, and then it freezes. How fitting is that? Right after Clef freezes, so does my laptop. But here, my only option is for this thing to miss, and I need to channel all of Clefable's fire energy and unleash a Fire Blast from inside the iceberg that will liberate my Clefable. So that is my only hope. He does miss the Blizzard, and Clefable stores up all of its firepower and just radiates it through its body and takes down the Rotom. So here, his Reuniclus, I don't exactly know its full spread. I can tell it's some kind of mixed defensive, so it should not be able to 2-hit KO my Clefable with Psychic, and I'm not sure if I'm able to 2-hit KO it with Moonblast, so my best play here is to go for Soft Boil to try to get out of range of the 2-hit KO. I will go for that, but right after unfreezing my Clefable's special defense will be dropped, so that was fun. And then here, all I have left is hoping that Moonblast can drop the thing's special attack. That's all I got left, and then, yeah, so I will go for that. The Reuniclus is to a KO'd from that range, and it is dropped on its special attack, so Clefable here is able to just click Moonblast one more time and take the thing out. And this was a bit of a roller coaster of an ending, I will say. I lost twice to hacks with the freeze and then the special defense drop, and then I still won. So this was definitely an interesting game, and that's why I had to upload it for you guys. You guys had to see this crazy ending, and hopefully it was worth all the trials of getting it uploaded. So if you guys see it, we finally made it. I want to thank you guys for watching through my misery and this roller coaster ending. Have yourselves a good night.